guys, Louie and I would like to welcome you back to our channel. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I had so much fun making the last video and I hope you all enjoyed it too. I've been thinking about what to talk about for this second video, and the one topic that has just been in my mind and I'm like, I need to discuss this, is positives and negatives of Booktok. Is Booktok a problem for readers? So let's dive in. I want to talk about the positives first. So I started on Booktok January 2021. So this is my second year on Booktok. And when I first started on the app and I was on Instagram first, and I was maybe a few weeks later, it was a very small community of people. And I remember searching for thrillers on there and I'm like, where are the thriller people? Where are the other thriller Booktalkers? And it was mainly fantasy at the time, some romance. It's crazy to look back and see how much it's blown up. Like, people reference Booktok all the time. Back then no one knew what I was talking about in my personal life. But so it's grown. It's a great community. It's a great community for the most part to talk about, recommend books. It feels like a very safe and positive place for me personally, because talking about books, recommending books, reading books, like that's like my happy place. Like, to be somewhere to just like talk freely about what I've read and what I thought, that's what matters to me. Like, it's just something I truly enjoy doing. As the community has grown, the platform of Booktok has grown, so has the amount of people who read. And I think that is a huge positive, a huge positive. People are reading, and like, at first I had this like thought where I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's reading because it's trendy now. That's so annoying. But no, like, I feel like truly what is happening is people are seeing more of this content and someone's taking these recommendations, reading it, and like, this is becoming, they're like, that's not just one book I want to read, that makes me want to read more books. And it's great. And like, other people might see like, oh, Colleen Hoover's trending, I'm going to read her books. But that, just because it's trending, it doesn't mean that that isn't going to stem into a hobby for that person and become a big part of their lives as well. So I think the amount of people who are beginning to love reading, who maybe didn't love reading, or they used to read when they were younger and now they're picking it back up again, that is a huge positive for those people. Like, those people who are just starting off and they need recommendations, like, where do I start? What am I going to read that is going to keep me reading? What am I going to enjoy? What genres do I like? They have those recommendations at their fingertips, and it makes it easier to get people to read. Like, the content you can make about books just hooks people. Like, I had friends 2 years ago where I'm pushing reading onto them, and they're like, I don't read. And like, some of them I was able to pressure into reading, and here we are. I have reader friends, and some of them still didn't, and then they've seen all the hype and they're reading now. So like, either way, like, my friends read now and I love it. On the other hand, there definitely are some negatives. I feel like the main thing for me is just walking into a bookstore. So walking into a bookstore used to be an experience for me and many other people, I'm sure, where you walk and you often don't know what you're going in for, what you're looking for. Like, what am I going to find? Am I going to walk out with my new favorite book? Like, I don't know what I'm going in for. And lots of times it was just like a fun thing to do. Like, I'm going to reward myself by going to find a book, just going into the bookstore. And I mean, that wasn't always the case. Like, I felt during COVID, I was researching books a lot more on like websites and Googling them just to be like, what are good books I should read? I need something to do during this time, obviously. But now walking in, it's like Booktok table right front in my face, and I'm just like, at one point it was exciting and so cool, like, oh my god, Booktok is in the bookstore. But now it's just like, okay, it's shoved at me. I need something new. Like, I've seen all these books. Obviously, for the people who are looking for those books that they see on Booktok, that's great. For me, however, I want new things. and it's just like the same old books. The covers look the same for all the romance, the covers look all the same for the thrillers, and I'm just like not hooked anymore. And I don't know if it's because all these same books are on Booktok now, that they all look the same, but I'm just not like stimulated walking into a bookstore anymore. It's a very different experience. And I know my sister and I both related. Like, we walk into a store and we're like, there's no new books. Like, are there no new books, or do they all just look the same so it feels like there's no new books? I don't know. Do I feel that Booktok is ruining reading for readers? No, I don't. I don't at all. I don't think it has anything to do with Booktok. I think it's great that there's a place to recommend books. It is overall usually an amazing, great community. However, I think there's a problem with the content. I think there's a problem with the publishers. I think there's problems elsewhere. We need books to look like art. Books are art. Let's start making them look like art. Like, why do we need to walk into the Booktok table and all these books look the same? Why do we need to look around? I've seen all these books before, but no, they just all look the same. I think there's a problem with how books are being put out there and how publishers think the audience wants to see books. And it's just, it's not making me want to pick up those books as often as I would maybe if the covers were just not the same cartoon as on that romance book, you know? But overall, I think Booktok is an amazing place for new readers, old readers, everyone. It is bringing people together with literature, and I love it. But this is a conversation that I could go on and on. I'm sure there's so many things I haven't talked about, and I'm sure I will come back to this topic, but I'd love to know what everyone else thinks. But that's it for this week. Bye, guys.